What is up, everyone? Hello?
Hello there, Mr. Carroll. Or as they call you in the movie community, Movie Worm. I want you to make a choice. You have 15 minutes to review the new movie Spiral, or all the Blu-rays behind you in your collection will be pulled on a chain, crushing you to death, buried by thousands of movies. Make your choice. Live or die.
Oh shit! What is up, everyone? Movie Worm back again with another review, and it's going to be for the 2021 film Spiral, and this is directed by Darren, Lynn, Bousman, and stars Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, this tells the story of a killer who puts people in deadly traps just like the Jigsaw Killer, and a detective who is determined to put an end to the horrific murders. Now, when I first heard about this film, I was sort of left scratching my head a little bit. Chris Rock, who is a big fan of the Saw movies, pitched a Saw-style movie to the movie studios. They loved it that much, they hired him as executive producer and also let him star in the film. What the hey? I mean, I was just thinking this could either be absolutely brilliant or a massive failure. So let's get into it. Now, my history with the Saw franchise compared to others is kind of just down the middle of the road. I think the first one is one of the best horror films ever made. The second is a damn solid sequel. But after that, they just become pretty forgettable. I mean, I watch them, have fun with them, and very rarely return to them movies. I know people think this is one of the best horror franchises out there. I tend to disagree. It's probably not even in my top 5. And I think it did need a breath of fresh air. Now, this is definitely more of a crime thriller. I mean, there are traps in here and stuff, but this tries to go more down the route of a movie like, dare I say it, Seven. It definitely focuses on the detective side of things more than the blood, guts, and gore. And it does mention the Jigsaw Killer a few times here, but this is more of a story set within the Saw universe. I mean, you can go and see this film without watching any of this franchise if you wanted. Now, you can tell this script had heart. There's a decent story in there somewhere, and I can imagine that this looked great on paper. But for all the right things this film does, it gets a hell of a lot wrong as well. I was really invested in this story from the start, where all these detectives were getting killed off and stuff. Like, why is this happening? Why are they being targeted? As the film goes on, you just become less and less interested, mainly down to some of the characters in this film, which I will get into in a minute. Like I said, the new story direction really enhanced this for me. I mean, it's not just creative ways where they can come up and kill people and different ways to pull blood and guts across the screen. This had a purpose, and it's easily the most story-driven Saw movie since Saw 2, even if it is a side film. I mean, these Saw movies, especially the later ones, are just clutching at straws, but this one definitely knew what it was going for. Not to say there aren't traps though, because there are. They're just not every 10 minutes like you're used to. The film picks its moments and scattered them around really nicely. They feel like they come along at just the right time. And one of the better ones, actually, the more inventive kills I've seen in the whole of the Saw films, was actually in the first 5 minutes. It's a great opening scene. And while I was watching this, I was actually wincing. I'm not easily shocked at movies anymore, but I felt the pain that some of these characters in this film were experiencing. This has a decent soundtrack as well, with some excellent song choices, but that Saw soundtrack makes an appearance. You know that motherfucker I'm talking about. Yep, played at the right moment in time as well. But like I said, this movie does have a few bad things going for it as well. And I did mention before, the characters, wow. Some of these performances feel really, really forced. It's just a lot of people shouting at one another, arguing constantly about the case at hand. And it doesn't help us as a viewer to get on board with any of these characters because they're just all very unlikable. Chris Rock for me though is unfortunately one of the biggest problems about this film. I mean, I know he's starting to get a lot of leading roles lately, like Fargo season 4, which I haven't watched yet. The Witches, the remake, which he narrated, and I thought he was pretty bad. But here, I really, really wanted to like him because I know he poured his heart and soul into this movie. But as the character of Detective Zeke Banks, he's just really off-putting at times. Look, he's not terrible in the role or anything. In fact, he's quite a good actor when he's just walking down the street with his partner or something, or on the phone to someone. He's very, very passable. In fact, he fits the role well. It's when he starts getting emotional or angry or starts shouting across the police precinct at people like every other character in this film does. I mean, his lines just don't land at all. They're so out of sync. I mean, I was just watching it going, oh, come on, Chris, you can do better than this. For example, he might say, hey, that guy was my friend. We went out together. Look, I wish Chris Rock all the best in future roles, but here, man, he was very, very frustrating and just took me out the film a few times. At least Samuel L. Jackson is on form as usual here. I mean, if it wasn't for him, the casting department here would have felt very, very empty, and they tried to give him a little bit of backstory as well as Zeke Banks' father, and it worked. Like I said, Spiral's story is one of the best things this film has going for it. Now, the cinematography here is kind of like Chris Rock's performance. It's a very mixed bag. I mean, it gives off this dark, gloomy, depressing feel, which is kind of what you want in this film. You know there's a crime spree terrorising a city. And other times it feels very, very low budget. Now, the best way I can describe this is if you take the movie Jigsaw, which is the best looking movie in this franchise in my opinion, and take Saw the Final Chapter, the worst looking movie in this franchise in my opinion, mismatch them together, you kind of get Spiral. And Saw fans will know what I'm talking about there. Also, some of these locations just feel very empty and dense, and it's kind of like the director just went, oh, yeah, we'll film it in this room here, yeah, let's just put a box in that corner over there, and that's all the props we need, and then we'll just go, yeah, that'll be fine. Now, I knew this was going to have a twist ending. That's what these films do all the time, and I kept that in mind. And to be honest, the movie wants you to guess all the way through anyway who this killer's going to be, and I guessed it about 20 minutes in, and I think most people will. I mean, I've seen it coming. That's not a great sign when you're trying to keep everything a mystery. And when this reveal happens, it is one of the most cringeworthy things I have ever seen in a horror film. The acting is so bad. It's laughably bad. I mean, I was squirming watching it. It was just horrendous. I'm sure they were running out of time and just done it in one take because it was that bad. One other thing as well, every time someone presses play on one of these Play Me tapes, the voice that appears is really, really bad. I mean, it's a small negative, but when you hear it like for the 7th time throughout the film, you're like, oh, that's quite noticeable. I still feel like this is better than some of the Saw movies though. I mean, it tries to do something new, and I applaud it for that. I just wish it could have been executed a little bit better there. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Spiral a 6 out of 10. If you're a fan of the Saw franchise, there might be something for you here. And I kind of enjoy my time with it. Just know that with all the good this has going for it, it has a ton of bad as well. Okay, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, fun fact for Spiral is that Chris Rock is the 2nd writer to star in a movie that he wrote in this franchise. The first being Lee Whannell in 2004 with Saw. Okay guys, I hope you all enjoyed this review. If you want to subscribe, it's up to yourself. I've got a lot more reviews coming, lots more videos, and if you want to comment about Spiral or the Saw franchise, leave it down below and I'll try and get back to every single one of you, I promise. Take it all easy guys. I'll see you all in the next video.